Solar flares are causing ascension symptoms. They're also preparing us for the event wave for ascension itself. That's the role of the sun. The sun is the marker for ascension. So did we think that somehow we weren't going to have practice rounds for ascension? Of course, we're going to get plenty of practice, and each solar flare is exactly that. It's an ascension signal, letting your body know that it's got to come online now. We're getting ready for ascension. Now, it could be a few months away, it could be a few years away. Either way, what we're seeing right now in these solar flares is an uptick from the sun. An uptick of activity and interaction from the sun. And I want to share with you a little visual, it's a comical visual, where you've got humanity on the ground level, yelling up at the sun, "Hey sun, I know that you're the trigger point for ascension, so could you just get busy? Could you just get cracking?" And the sun says, here's some plasma filaments for you. And humanity goes into ascension symptoms, and they wobble and they bobble and they go, "Oh my God, what just happened to us? Damn it, these flares are outrageous. They're so disconcerting. When are they going to stop?" Well, they're not, because number one, we asked for this, we came for this. And number two, the sun is answering. It's answering our readiness. So you might say, well, is the sun causing ascension, or are we causing the sun to trigger ascension? And the truth is, the relationship is entirely symbiotic. The sun is not going to impose ascension on us, whether we're ready or not. We have to be in a place of receptivity to the sun's signal. And that's exactly what the flares are, their training ground. But they've always been solar flares. So how come we weren't as affected before? Now, suddenly an X-class flare goes off and the world goes into a little bit of a tailspin. Communication signals can go down, mental health, emotional well-being. There's so many side effects. Weather, oh my gosh, so many side effects to these flares. Sometimes a flare results in a CME, and other times they don't, yet we're affected either way, even just by a little solar flare. Well, there's no such thing as a little solar flare when the magnetic field is as thin as it is right now. You've heard about the veil, right? The veil gets thinner and thinner as we come closer and closer to ascension. That's why we become more psychic, more telepathic, why people start seeing energy and interacting with energy more. The veil is getting thinner. Another side effect of this veil getting thinner is that we can start receiving light codes, which is another way of saying the cosmic field that we were once separate from, we're now interacting with. But why were we separate in the first place? See, it's pretty normal for a planet to have a magnetic field around it that protects it from cosmic radiation. Solar wind, solar radiation, all of that can cause such upheaval upon a planet. What we're experiencing right now is not just the thinning of the veil. What we're also experiencing is the thinning of Earth's magnetic field. That is why we're being so affected by these incoming solar flares, the incoming solar winds, the incoming cosmic energies that are now interacting with us that we were once separate from, is because the veil's getting thinner, the magnetic field is getting thinner. It used to be very intact, number one, but number two, interwoven into the magnetic field, embedded into it, was a broadcast signal used to keep the grid of the false matrix in place. And the grid of the false matrix was a closed container. It was a quarantine zone wherein those upon the planet were essentially prisoners. For many, many lifetimes, we haven't been able to get off of this ship. For many, many lifetimes, we've been caught in a recycling. Some people call it reincarnation. In our case, it became a recycling of souls. The magnetic field, which is normal, we should have that, was abnormal in the false matrix because it became more like a wall, an impermeable wall that wasn't allowing interaction between us and God's world, the natural universe, the organic matrix, whatever you want to call it, that space outside of the false matrix, we were totally cut off from that. Now, we've had two groups of people working to eradicate the false matrix? Number one, the galactics. Right now, the sky is teeming with galactic beings, and it has been for many, many years. And these galactic beings have been working to take down the broadcast signal from the outside. We are the other group of people. Some of you guys call yourselves light workers, star seeds, beings of consciousness, spiritual warriors, or just an ordinary human. It doesn't matter what name you give yourself. We are the boots on the ground that are working to collapse the false matrix from within by becoming our own broadcast signal, by becoming beacons of light, beacons of truth, reminders to the collective of who they truly are. Each one of us becomes a signal of that, and we begin to melt the false matrix here at the ground level. So we've got the external team that has pretty much done their job. The rest is now left up to us, and we are now being prepared by the sun. We can now receive those jolts that the sun is giving us that say, hey, wake up, come online. So what exactly is supposed to come online? What exactly are we meant to be doing? How can we prepare? Okay, let's talk about that. Don't go into fear. Because honestly, so many people are so invested in your fear, because your fear is going to prevent ascension. That's the bottom line. Your fear is going to maintain the control that the false matrix's engineers or coordinators that they've lost. They've lost control over the false matrix because it's been taken down from the external. But what they're hoping to do, and this is really the only power that they have, is to corrupt enough people into fear to prevent enough people from ascending that they can create an alternate false matrix somewhere else. The collapse is well and truly underway right now. So don't fall. This is not the time to fall. I've put up a couple of videos recently about Atlantis, because that's exactly what happened in the Atlantean story. They fell in consciousness, just there before the ascension point. We right now get to remedy that and really be the resonance, really be the solution, really receive the sun's signal. So what is it signaling? It is signaling your plasma light body. The sun is a portal. It is a stargate. And through that stargate, God's light comes. It originates, and this is at the physical level. So in other words, at the level of creation, that's what I'm referring to. At the level of creation, God interacts with the universe through portals. One of them is the universal sun. And from the universal sun, that light is carried into the galactic sun, and then into the solar sun, and then, by the way, into your internal sun, which is your pineal gland. What we're being prepared to do is to receive that information that we were once cut off from, once disconnected from, which brings us back into light, back into alignment, and discharges all of the density we've been carrying on behalf of the ancestral line that we represent. All of that is being melted away as we receive these light codes, and then something in us resists the light codes. Something in us says, no, hold on, I preferred who I knew myself to be. I preferred the illusion. Why? Because it was familiar. There's so many people that write that in my comment section. They say, oh, this is scary, this whole ascension thing. I'm scared of what's going to happen. You're not scared of what's going to happen. You're scared of letting go of what you know. And that's normal, and it's okay, and it's natural. But understand that what we're doing is we are restoring ourselves back to the truth of who we are. That is not scary. But letting go of the known, of the familiar, sure, that takes a tremendous amount of courage. And every now and then the body battles. Every now and then it goes into a automated resistance. Every now and then there's a whole heap of baggage, a whole heap of old programming, a whole heap of residue that we get to let go of when we hit against that bump of density and we battle to discharge it. That's called an ascension symptom. It can be physical, mental, emotional. It can show up in numerous ways, and they're all okay, provided you keep letting the light codes come in to melt the density, to allow for the discharge to happen. See, the plasma that is the sun, and not just the plasma, by the way, the sun has, just like you do, many light bodies. But right now, it's the plasma light body of the sun talking to your plasma light body, because plasma has this amazing quality of being both energy and matter. It can show up in both forms. We here are energy showing up in the physical form. So the plasma is kind of like that in-between world where we can be both energy and manifest, both physical as well as energetic. The plasma light body needs to come back online again. How we navigate through ascension without being completely eliminated, because some people hear me talk about the micronova, the great flash from the sun, and they go, oh, that's an extinction level event. No, it's not, because when your plasma light body comes online, you erupt from within you at the point of the solar flash a great magnetic field. It shows up as a rainbow light body. Another thing that shows up is this big crown, this big light around your head, because the sun inside of you has come online. All of that ancient Christian art, and not just Christian art, the ancient spiritual art that we see from the ancient worlds, depicted people with halos, these golden crowns, because it wasn't a fantasy that they were imagining. It was something that they were quite literally seeing. Ascension has happened before. It just so happens this is a mass ascension. The ascensions that this planet has seen before have been more where a few people have ascended. So they were the anomalies, seeing them erupt into a rainbow light body, seeing these crowns of light erupting. This is the plasma light body coming online. How can you aid the process? Because you're going to see a lot of craziness. You're going to see a lot of people come even more unhinged than they already are. You've got to learn to connect to the stillness, to allow the light to speak to your body. There's a reason why my community, my online community, I called it the Plasma Light Tribe. Plasma light right now is your friend. Begin to interact with the world around you as if it's energy. Begin to experience yourself as energy, because you are, because that's your true nature. And a great way to do that, and I'm really a big fan of simple. Simple is my friend. I know that simple is not always easy, but simple is the way. Life is so uncomplicated. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily easy, but it's a lot simpler than we think it is. So keep looking for the simple solutions in your life. One of them is a guided meditation. It's such an easy one. It's on my online shop. I've recently redone it, remastered it, re-recorded it. It's called the Deep Relaxation Trilogy. If you bought it ages ago, go re-listen to it, because your purchase includes all of the revisions that I do. Go and re-listen to this amazing piece of work that gets you into that zone. It gets you into that space where you can experience yourself as energy, interacting with the world as if it were energy, because it is. And that's you restoring yourself to your natural state of being. The three meditations are body, mind, and soul. When you move into the mind meditation, you learn to switch on the higher mind. When you move into the soul meditation, you learn to breathe your soul in through your skin, into your body, and have it interact with you. All three of those meditations are preparation at the simplest possible level for what we're undertaking. There's nothing complicated about what we're undertaking, but that doesn't mean that this isn't the biggest deal that could possibly happen in anybody's lifetime. This is it. But we're in preparation now, and these solar flares, each time they trigger, that's the sun tapping you on the shoulder saying, you got to prepare, you got to get ready, you got to get into alignment. And there's a lot of people going, I know I've got to do something, but I don't know what it is. You are it. You're your purpose. You're the thing that you've come here to master. Not to be mastered, because that was the story of the false matrix. We were mastered in the false matrix. We were enslaved. Sometimes seeing, not analyzing, mind you, but just seeing, acknowledging is perhaps the better word, where we were, allows us to more fully and freely embrace where we're moving towards, the ascension point. It is the rainbow bridge into the golden era. And some people look at it as the death of the old, and other people look at it as the birth of the new. That's your choice. How will you be looking at the greatest transformation that humanity could could ever undergo. Do you know what a lot of people are going to be doing? They're going to be watching their TV. They're going to be going to the shops. They're going to be caught in the purposeful distraction campaigns that surround us right now. So you have to not be the mindless puppet. You have to make your own choices, make your own decisions, make choices that sometimes are a little bit challenging. To really sit with yourself in stillness is sometimes the simplest but most challenging thing to do. That's when you really get real and you confront yourself. I've created an online community to support people in doing this because I don't want you to listen to these videos and go, whoa, this is a big undertaking. How do I do it? You've got hours worth of support in my online community. You don't have to join. It's just there if you want the support. Let's make the preparation phase that we're in right now as easy and as beautiful as we possibly can by remembering that we are all walking each other home. I keep telling you guys this, and I will keep telling you guys so that you remember we agreed to do this. We agreed to come in, to hold each other's hands, to walk each other home, knowing exactly all along where home was. It was a state of being. It was a state of connection that we are returning to. A state of that beautiful light and the alignment to that light that is God's light coming home to us. So enjoy the process of working through all of these solar flares. Enjoy the process of your plasma light body coming back online again. Share this video with your friends so that they don't go into fear and into fear mongering that these are the end times, because we will see weather cataclysms like we haven't seen before. We will see mental health issues, emotional unwellness like we've never seen before. And yet at the same time, each one of us is being invited to be the counterbalance to all of that right now. Talk to you really soon. Lots of love from my heart all the way into yours. Bye-bye for now.